There we go. AVV Nation, all of YouTube, what's going on? It's Patrick with VectorVest, back with you guys once again for our third week of trading for charity. So this is our live trading room we do Tuesday and Friday, where we're doing some live trading, growing our portfolio, teaching you guys how to manage your portfolio properly, and also at the same time raising money for a great cause, Levine Children's Hospital, the biggest children's hospital in the Southeast. So welcome everybody, hopefully you're doing well. Let's see who's all in here this morning. So type in VV Nation into the chat, let's get that going there. Also, if you use !milestone, that will allow you to see the milestones that we currently have right now. As you can see above me, we're about 64% of the way to our second milestone. Now, if you want to see the milestones, you can type it in the chat, but let's go ahead, take a quick look at it real fast. So at our next milestone, we have a course giveaway where we'll be allowing you guys to pick any at-home study course that we have available, and you guys will be able to take that course at the comfort of your own home at your own pace there. So after that, if we hit the next milestone after that, we will have Glenn come on and sing live. And then at 2,000, we'll have another course giveaway where we'll be giving away access to, let me make sure, our precision swing trading course that comes up very, very soon. At 2,500, we have our mobile premium annual subscription we'll be giving away. At 3,000, you guys can come up with any question to ask me. At 3,500, VV Nation, you guys out there get to pick which item we go and purchase that will be donated to Levine Children's Hospital. As always, there's two ways to donate. The links are in the chat, and the first way is you can donate directly to us. All of that will be summed up at the end of this event, and we will go out and use that money to buy toys, clothes, whatever they need, and donate it directly to Levine. The other option you have available to you is being able to donate directly to the Levine Children's Hospital General Fund, and that is the second link in there. So either one helps out the great cause and helps raise money for, once again, Levine Children's Hospital. So after that, at 4,000, you guys get to pick one thing that I will eat live on stream. Whether I like it or not, I'll have to try it out. At 4,500, we'll be giving away an intraday annual subscription. At 5,000, you guys will have to make me shave for the rest of the year. At 7,500, you guys will be able to see an awesome video posted on our YouTube channel of the education department dressing up in Christmas outfits and singing a Christmas carol there. At 10 grand, Glenn and I will shave our heads live while we're on stream. And at 15,000, if we reach that goal, Joey will shave his head as well. Hey Lee, tuning in from Israel. Really like your trading. Thank you for that. Junior energy, why is it down really bad? Well, natural gas is pulling back right now, so that would be why. Hey there, Roger. Hopefully you're doing well. All right, so with that, let's go ahead, jump right into it. Take a look right now. The VectorVest composite is up about 0.4%. The Dow is down actually about 0.75%. S&P 500 is essentially flat for the session. NASDAQ is up about 0.2%. Russell up about 0.4%. Right now, that has our needle 2 ticks into the green. And then looking over here at our advanced declines. Right now, we're sitting at about 59% of stocks moving higher and 31% of stocks moving lower. So almost that 2-to-1 bias. We had that 2-to-1 bias earlier in the morning, but that has slowly been fading away here as the day gets longer. So taking a look at our graphs right now, looking at the VectorVest composite, we can see the market was running earlier, but then started to see this sell-off really since about 10:30 or so. But looking at our DTI indicators, now the DTI is our intraday timing signal, and it's cast on a scale of 0 to 2. And whenever either one of these indicators goes above that level of 1, that shows us we have a bias in a certain direction. Whenever the indicator goes above 1.2, that shows us we have a strong bias in that direction. In other words, whenever either indicator goes above 1, tells us start getting a trade ready in that direction. Breaks above 1.2, that gives us a green light to go ahead and pull the trigger on it. So even with this pullback we see in the market right now, we can see the DTI bullish indicator still leading the charge, telling us the markets are still up overall. The bias should still be to the upside even with this pullback. Now, this brings me to an important note. If you guys want to see more of this, next Tuesday instead of doing our typical noon Eastern time frame that we do here for trading for charity, we're going to be doing an extended version where it's going to be a mix of our Jockey Club, which is our live trading room we do Monday through Friday, and also trading for charity. So we're going to be starting at 9 a.m. rather than noon, and we'll be live both in the Jockey Club and here on YouTube. So you guys will be able to get an extended analysis. We're going to be starting 30 minutes before the market opens. So that way you guys out there who aren't Jockey Club members get to see what the Jockey Club is about, see some of our trades in the most volatile periods when what we talk about here on a regular basis can be most viable typically. So we have a lot of great opportunities there with that. And so next Tuesday, once again, a few days from now, we have a longer extended version of our trading for charity and our Jockey Club. So I look forward to that. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to that as well. Marie says, made money yesterday. Huge day today. Waiting to trade maybe on Monday. Yeah, maybe. All right. So let's go ahead, take a look. Here's our one trade that we still currently have in the portfolio, ACGL. As we can see, rose up sharply yesterday with the overall market, pulling back a little bit here today. But taking a look at our trading for charity portfolio, right now we're sitting up at about 2% gain. Only stock in the portfolio, once again, ACGL, overall up 1.2%. So let's see if we can add to that here. Give me one moment. Let me get this back. There we go. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead. Once again, taking a look, DTI bullish indicator, while it is pulling back, it still leads the charge. So therefore, we should still be focusing on bullish opportunities here in the market. So let's go ahead, jump into the unit search, take a look at some of our favorite scans here. And starting off with the daily boomers. Get a lot of candidates to look at. So let's go ahead and graph these. First one that comes to the list, COMP. Great run earlier, been pulling back since, once again, about that 10:30, 10:45 time frame. Looks like it's starting to slow down. Volume's also slowing down as well. So need to see signs that it's starting to come back to life before we would jump on board with this one. TLS, you have a level of resistance right here at around $5 even. Until it can break above that point, we need to be patient, wait for the trade to come to us. Should you sell LNG when it reach the rule on VectorVest? What do you mean, what rule? As always, plan your trade and trade your plan. On one day trading, 1 minute doesn't make a trend. Always go 15 or 1 hour chart for better common sense of the market trend. Hey, to each their own. I prefer 1 minute charts. I've done plenty fine with 1 minute charts. If there's lower volume, sometimes you can slow it down and look for slower time frames like 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute, whatever you're more comfortable with. But personally, as long as there's decent volume on it, 1 minute charts tell you about the same thing. If anything, gives you a little bit more insight earlier on. He means on the stop price. So yeah, if your stop price has been met, then you should plan your trade and trade your plan. That's VectorVest 101, money management. All right, so looking at AVDL. Volume started lightening up as it started coming back, but then you're starting to see a little bit of renewed life here. Not quite the interest that you saw earlier. So maybe, but we'll add this to our list to keep an eye on it, but probably not going to take it quite yet. MTTR. A lot of volatility here. Decent volume throughout most of the session. This could be an interesting one. CENX. Had this level of resistance right here at 986 or so. Broke through, pulling back to retest. This could be definitely an interesting trade here. Pixie. Pretty volatile. Not a whole lot of volume earlier this morning, but starting to see some new life coming in. Docs moving in the wrong direction currently. Looking for ones with consistent volume as well. XPEV, don't really like what we're seeing, but good volume. So money goes where money grows. PSNY, just moving sideways right now. Sideways action, not enough volume. IQ, nice run. Volume's a little lighter than what I'd like to see. BIAF, probably not. And then AMRS had that pullback, starting to make a new resumption in the uptrend. So this could be an interesting one. So out of these, AMRS, IQ we'll take a look at. XPEV just because of the volume. Pixie we'll take a look at. CENX, MTTR, and that'll be it. So MTTR, CENX, PIXY. Let's go ahead and get those in here. And then we had further down the list, XPEV, IQ, and AMRS. There we go. Mash, that was a long time ago. It's been a few years on that one. All right, so with MTTR, you have this level of resistance right here at 377. It tried to break out, but then pulled back. Now coming back, trying to get back above this level of support. Or excuse me, level of resistance. If it can hold, that would be interesting. But right now, it's trying to get above. Not a whole lot of interest behind that move. CENX came back, retested that support, bounced off. Waiting to see if we can get followed through though. PIXY, great volume over the last few minutes, but what you see in the past is what we're getting in the future right now. XPEV, I like what we're seeing with the setup here, but I'd like to see it break this downtrend to show that a renewed uptrend is starting to form. Could be getting that very, very soon though. IQ, nice steady uptrend, but at this stage, volume's lightening up. We need to see renewed volume and a breakout above that resistance there. And then AMRS, another one. Volume's lightening up throughout this most recent pullback and this little resumption of the uptrend, but we need to see it break that resistance to show that the uptrend has some legs still. All right, so let's go ahead. Keep an eye on this here. Our hot stock list, I see AEHR looks good now. Let's go ahead, pull that up. AEHR, yeah. Try to break out of resistance, pulled back, making a second attempt to try to break out. Right now, though, I don't like seeing that stronger volume relative to what it had been trading at, and you have a tall upper wick, indicating a lot of selling pressure. So telling us it may not be comfortable really at these price levels. So we need to be patient with that one for the time being. Want to see MTTR try to break above that resistance level on weak volume. That's what we were worried about. Failed to break above and then pulling back right now. This is why we wait for confirmation of that. All right, CENX. I like what we're seeing, buying off that low there. Now, decent volume, not as high as what it has been relative to the most recent past here. But I like the setup and it's still rocking and rolling. We have a decent support floor, so let's go ahead and get a trade ticket set up just in case. All right, so hitting that new high. And then we do have support down here at 990. Consolidation here, fell below, quickly got back up to it, came back, retested that 990 level. So let's see if I can get filled on this one. I put in a limit order to make sure I'm not getting filled at that exact high there. Just refreshing, see if it comes up. So on this minute, the low 995.2. I like the setup on it. I don't think I'm going to get filled on it though. Yep, and it blew past my stop, so I'm going to go ahead, cancel that order. Because at this point, if it pulls back to get filled, then this uptrend is not going to be intact anymore. So, move on. But you can see, still running, decent volume. Everything you want to see in a trade is what we're seeing right now. Now with this, if you're in it, move your stops up. 995 would be that new support floor. And follow the trade from there. Huge volume coming in though on that $10 mark. All right, so MTTR, clear reversal coming in right here, telling us it's not necessarily that comfortable at these highs here. So be careful if this one's in your portfolio right now. Let's go see what the market's doing. Market's starting to climb back a little bit, breaking past previous highs, which is definitely a positive sign here. So out of that list, CENX seems like one of the best candidates that we've seen so far. Be impatient with it though. Move that line of sand up, 997. All right, so that's for the upside. Let's go see if there's any downside candidates as well. Got a few here. Whew. So Ryan, nice steady move downward here. EXFY, but no real trading volume, so we're going to pass on that one. DOUL, still, once again, not a whole lot of trading volume. And then OPCH, whew, this one's landsliding here today. You have this nice steady downtrend. Honestly, it's a little extended from that trend line. So I may not enter the trade quite yet. I want to see how it retests, if it comes back to retest this trend line here. And then Cigna, whew, Cigna is also another one landsliding lower here today. But with this one, you do have a support floor right around 290 a share. We need to see if it breaks that. So Cigna and then OPCH, two viable shorting candidates for us today. All right, CENX pulling back, retesting that support line as we speak. Let's see if it can hold. If it can, this may be a new entry opportunity here. But if it can't, that's fine. We move on. Just keeping an eye on it. It's right at that support floor. Seeing increased selling pressure coming in here as well. It's going to hold. Watching on volume right now. Volume extremely low, so not really getting any clear confirmation one way or the other quite yet. So at this stage, we just need to be patient with it. Keep an eye on volume. Slight uptick. No volume yet. Still got about 20 seconds left on this minute. Need to see what's going to happen on this minute to see whether or not this is still viable. All right, so decent volume. Let's go ahead. Place that order, see if it gets filled. Should be getting filled on that one. And then, as always, we have our stop here at 997. All right, so we did get filled on CENX. Let's see it continue. I like what we're seeing here because you did have an increase in volume here. And also, it closed in the upper 50% of that range. So you hit a new high, pulled back a little bit, but still closed in the upper 50%, telling us the bulls are on the right side here. Or the money is still pushing the stock higher. The bulls are in control. Now, what we're looking for is a breakout above 1002. There we go. Huge increase in volume on this minute, but we need to see it. I mean, still got plenty of time on this minute. Need to see it get back towards the highs here. Keep my order ticket up just in case. There we go. All right, so you had the breakout, strong volume, so you have conviction behind that move. Coming back down to retest that new now support floor here at 1003. Let's be patient with it. Give it some time. With that buying pressure coming in over the last 3 minutes, looks like a decent setup here. All right, so it closed down below that support floor. We need to see if it can, or if that gets validated, or if it breaks that and continues to move higher as it's retesting that support. So I'm moving this over so I can keep a better eye on it. There we go. There we go. Continue to push. Up about 0.5% on the trade so far, but this move, I definitely would like to see a little bit more volume behind it. Closing at the high. And also, don't forget, folks, if you guys are here for the first time, or if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. That helps us out, doesn't cost you a thing, and helps continue to grow awareness for the cause that we're trying to raise money here for Levine Children's Hospital. So if you haven't yet, make sure hit that like button. And if you want to donate to help raise money for Levine and help reach our milestones that we have set here for this year, you can use !tips. And that will go right to, or give you the link so you can donate directly to us or donate directly to Levine Children's Hospital. So either one, all of that goes towards the great cause. And that's really why we're all here. So let's see if we can get to our second goal by the end of the stream here today. All right, moving up. It's slow, but it's steadily moving higher here, which is what you want to see. And still seeing a majority of buying pressure coming in here. All right, so I can go ahead, close that out so we can adjust this. So now 10.05, it's a small move, but a move that'll ensure that we lock profit in if it doesn't stay above that point. Until we have more of a cushion baked in, we got to keep our stops tighter to make sure we're locking profit in. Rather take a small win than let it end up turning into a loss. Talk from new buy rated stocks. We can take a look at that after this. Oh, TARK. Okay. Yeah, we'll take a look at some of those after we get out of this trade. As always, if I'm in a day trade, I don't want to take my eyes off it because, as we've seen in the past, whenever we start to look elsewhere, we get distracted. We end up missing out either on a great time to take our profit off the table or miss out on a good time to get into a position if we haven't got in quite yet. So, yeah, once we're out of the trade as a day trade, we stay on the trade until we're finished. All right, let's see it continue to climb. Just slow and steady here. Another way of managing this trade, now that we have more data to go off of. Using a trend line. As always, let the trend be your friend. Move this down. There we go. We can see it's a pretty steep uptrend, but that's ensuring that we had locked profit in at this point. It's just slow and steady here. Come on, come on. Let's see the climb. So RK, we're in the US and we're trading on the US market, so we're not going to be able to look at the Nifty 50. Hey, and Joy coming in with a $30 donation for Levine. Thank you, Joy. Appreciate that. VV Nation, show her some love. All right. There we go. And as a side note, folks, if you're going to come in and spam, you're going to get timed out. Just letting you know right now. Hey, and once again, thank you very much, Joy. Thank you for that $30 donation to St. Jude, or excuse me, Levine Children's Hospital. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's definitely going to be a great help to going towards a great cause. So thank you once again. All right, looking at the trade, sitting at about 1% gain on it so far. Like to see it start to really gain some traction here. You've had a lot of buying pressure, but price action hasn't really been moving as fast as the buying seems to be coming in. So just need to be patient, also need to be careful with it. There we go. So at this stage, have a little bit of consolidation at 10.08. Roger's coming in. CENX beat earnings expectations by a lot this week. Well, that's an even better motivator to jump on board with it then. All right, so following the uptrend, letting the trend be our friend. Up about 1.2% so far on the trade after a few minutes. There we go, hitting a new high here. All right, so one thing I do want to do is CENX. Put it on an end of day chart as well. Keep an eye on that. Make sure that there's nothing in our future that we need to be aware of here. So we do have some resistance at 1022 from this previous high here. As you can see, we're getting pretty close to that. So when we get closer to that 1022, 1023 to be realistic, we need to pay closer attention to that price action then. All right, coming back down, hitting that support at 1008. Let's see if it can hold. Needs to get back above 1008. Are we going to do that? Because that is a lot of selling volume coming in. But let's see if that buying volume can come in towards the end of that. Now close right at 1008. Retesting that support. Also retesting that trend line as well. Needs to get back above that trend line and above 1008. Can it do so? Staying above support. But is that trend still continuing? And it's not, so I'm going to go ahead and take my profit off the table. Once again, rather take a small win than let it end up turning into a loss. All right, cool. So book that one. ACGL. So with ACGL, this is the one that's currently in our portfolio. And right here, you have some resistance, support and resistance at 57.96. If we can't get back above this here today, I may consider just taking the profit off the table, moving on. Freeing up some cash to put it into something that's moving the way we want it to be. Going through some of our other candidates real quick. Nothing else really seems to be moving quite yet. MTTR just moving sideways, struggling to really break out of this zone here. All right, so before we move on from this, go ahead, get rid of CENX. We've already traded it, not going to double dip, so moving on from that one. Then TARK and then apps. Ooh, all right, so TARK, AX 2 times. No, not familiar with that. Let's go ahead, pull that up real quick. Let's see. Let's go to the viewers, stock viewer. Wait for it to come up. Come on. All right. 2-time. All right. Let's go ahead, take a look at the chart. Right here, you have some support resistance. Light volume, though. I need to see that volume pick up a little bit more, Marie, to really get comfortable jumping on board with it. Great uptrend, but then at the same time, light volume here. Let's go look. Cigna still hasn't broken that 290 support there. And then OPCH finally starting to round the corner. Let's see how it reacts to this trend line here. All right, so let's go back. Take a look. Compass still hasn't really recovered a little bit, or recovered yet. TLS, another one, still has not been able to really break above that $5 resistance. So at Docs has decent volume. What I'd like to see, though, is a breakout from this downtrend. Lower highs, lower lows. You're starting to see a potentially higher low kicking in. Also looking at MACD. MACD's been steadily moving higher. Oh, let me go ahead, delete that. MACD has been steadily picking up even as price was moving lower. So you have that bullish divergence here, suggesting that upside potential may outweigh downside risk. But we need to see it break that downtrend to get confirmation of that bullish divergence there. PS and Y just moving the wrong direction here today. Ooh, all right. So here's an interesting one. MGNI, nice steady uptrend, continuing to hit higher highs, higher lows. We'll add that to our main list here. And then 9. Trying to recover. You had a potential double bottom here at around 906. But you also have resistance right here at 945. Hey, Robbie, glad to see you here. Hopefully you're doing well. And then Unity Software, resistance right around 3190. What is that? 32, we'll call it. Failed to break above that resistance here. Failed to break it there. Waiting to see it get back above that point. So that's what we were just looking at. 9. You have resistance at 945. Unless we break above that, We're going to be cautious with it. But 9 we'll put into our list. MG and I will add to our list. Docs will add to our list. Just be patient with the others. So let's do this. Looking for an entry on COMP. Great run earlier. Taking a little bit of a breather. Need to wait to see when that new life comes back into it. So we have that already. Docs, MGNI, and 9. Let's go ahead. AMRS. We're going to get rid of this one. Pixie will get rid of that. The volume just hasn't come back like we were hoping for. IQ will get rid of. There we go. Cleaning up our list a little bit. So looking at 9. 9, the volume has been lightening up here. We need to see it break above that resistance level at 945 before we're really going to want to jump on board with it. Good morning, Matt. Hopefully you're doing well. MGNI. Hit that oversold territory. Wait for the full pullback. Wait for it to get into hit overbought territory. Wait for it to pull back to get into oversold territory. Then look for a reversal at that stage. Just watching Doxo. I like what we're seeing with this one. AEHR, you broke out, but still, volume is pretty light. OPCH. Thought it was going to come back, but looks like we're in this part right in here. So I'm going to wait to see how it retests this trend line before jumping on board with that one. All right, so when looking at Docs, we are seeing a little bit of consolidation here. Connecting these lows here, you have higher lows being formed. But you also have lower highs. Now, I do like seeing this bullish volume coming in off of that low, pushing us back towards the upper part of this consolidation. But we need to see it break out before jumping on board. I'd rather be patient and give up a few cents to have a higher probability of success than to take the trade with a lower probability and end up having it be a losing trade here. So just going through them, waiting for the right opportunities here. Looking at the stochastics on MGNI, you've had the correction. It's in oversold territory now. Just waiting for the reversal sign as an entry. Because just because it hit this oversold territory doesn't mean it's going to instantly reverse. It just means we need to start paying closer attention to this one for that reversal sign to jump on board with. Right now, Dox is looking like one of the stronger candidates that we have in our list so far. Volume still a little lighter than what we'd like to see, but you have that continuation. You broke past that high, so therefore you now have higher lows and higher highs by the most basic definition, putting it in an uptrend. But let's see if it can break this downtrend over this longer term downtrend. I'm going to get my trade ticket ready just in case. All right, it's right there. But is it going to break out? Stalled right at that trend line. This is why we wait, folks. This is why we're patient. Got about 15 seconds left before we have the breakout. And once again, it's not always just about the breakout, but the follow through that comes right afterwards. And if you look at the volume is not nearly as high as it has been on that breakout. So not giving a whole lot of confirmation that it still has room to go. All right, gonna go ahead and place that trade. All right, so filled at 33.23. Let's see it continue to run. $33.22. There we go. Now, whenever you're trading a breakout pattern like this, the way you can use your charts to set your stops. This is your line in the sand. If it comes back down and breaks back down inside of that consolidation, simply cut it and move on. Otherwise, as it continues to pull away, you manage it the same way we would manage any other type of a breakout pattern. So keeping an eye on it. Actually, I'm going to use this right here. So we have some consolidation right around 33.34. That would be a level of resistance we want to pay closer attention to on an intraday basis. Let's go ahead and mark that there. $33.32. Come back down to retest. We can see we got within that zone, that resistance zone here, because it's not just a specific number, but it's, you know, an area above and below this support resistance zone that really identifies it. So that's what we're being patient with, waiting to see how it reacts to this. Pull back on lower volume here. Let's see if it can climb back higher now. So what we're seeing, oh, there we go. Coming back to retest that resistance. Come on, let's see it push. I want to see it close in the upper 50% of that range. If we can get a breakout from that resistance with this, when you add it to the breakout from this consolidation, that could lead to some explosive moves if we can see that here. Come on. Let's go. Right now, just kind of in limbo. See it pop. Want to break out above this 33, 32 level. End the week on a high note here. Did see some buying pressure coming in on those lows though. So right now we're seeing a tug and war match going on between the bulls and the bears. The bulls are trying to pull it higher. The bears are trying to pull it lower. You can see the lower wicks on these two candles on the bearish minutes and the higher wicks on the bullish minutes here. My bet's on the bulls, but we got to be patient. Trying to break above it. Stalling out right at that resistance level. Zoom in a little bit. Like seeing that buying coming in off those lows. Now that we have a more clear support, 33.17. This would be our line of sand. So this is really out of the picture now. Yeah, we'll take a look at that in just a moment for you, Joy. Stalling out right at that resistance. And then realistically, support's going to be down here at 33.17, 33.18. Hit once, twice, try to break down below that, quickly came back up 3 times. So we've had consistent points where it's hit this level and bounced off of it. We need to see it break out of that resistance there. Come on, it's right there at that level. Seeing some consolidation, taking a little bit of a breather after the breakout. That's fine. Sometimes we have to just be patient, give the stock some time to, test these levels, make sure it's comfortable at these levels. Really, that's how it works in the markets. You get to these, or you see the breakouts, price consolidates around that level to see if there's still buying coming in. If there is, then we see that continuation to the upside. If there isn't, that shows that we're at a peak and the stock has to pull back so that way it gets back to those buying situations there, or to meet those buy orders. Hey, Tyree, I like that idea. If you guys haven't already, hit that like button, please. Come on, let's go. There we go. It's trying to break out. Stronger volume. Above that resistance. Now we need to see it pull away from that zone. It's the first minute that it's actually closed above that level of resistance, so that's a positive sign here. Up about 1/3% so far on the trade. Now, that previous high comes in at 33.53. 33.53. There's our new level of resistance. So that's our next consolidation zone. Now that we're above and getting confirmation of the breakout, let's see if it can continue to move higher, get back to this zone here. Come on, let's go. Don't like seeing that minute there. Some selling pressure coming in, pushing it back down, stronger volume, telling us to be careful. Got my finger on the trigger just in case. All right, so can we break past this high here? There we go. Therefore, that tells us this was the pullback to retest that support. This was the bounce off. Now, you're seeing a pretty big move on this last minute so far, and we still have plenty of time left on this minute, but we need to see volume kicking in to really confirm that big movement we're noticing in price action. There we go. Pushing it higher here. Closed in the upper 50% of that range, which is definitely a positive sign. But it did stall out right at that resistance level we had previously marked. So as we always talk about, especially in our Trade Like a Pro series that we teach here at VectorVest, as a resistance level, or support resistance is by far one of the most powerful crowd mentality indicators out there. For anybody that may have bought in here and didn't get out of there at that point, you have this pullback. Let's see if the crowd is wanting to get out as quickly as possible at this previous high, or if they're confident in trade and want to see it continue. Chuck is asking, is the DTI only available with the Derby? If so, is there any indicators similar? So, Chuck, you can, as long as you have VectorVest 7 and you have real-time and intraday, so streaming data, as long as you're on an intraday time frame on your graph, you should be able to get the DTI there if I'm not mistaken. But don't quote me on that. Give our support a call, double check with them, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. As long as you have intraday data, you should be able to see that there. There we go. There we go. Getting a nice run, but come on. That's what we were talking about, that crowd mentality indicator. Is there enough buying orders come in to push us higher? This is how it closes. If it doesn't close above that resistance level, I'm going to take my profit. So it didn't. I'm up about just shy of 1%. Locking that in. There we go. About 0.9% on that trade by the time it closed. I'm fine with that. Small wins. When it's time to seek, do you sell at a limit price or market? Really just depends. Right now, I've been using market orders to get a faster entry and exit. But sometimes I will use limit orders. Just depends. All right. So, Docs made money on that trade. So far, we're 2 for 2 today. XPEV finally maybe setting up here. Oh yeah, SOXX. Let's go take a look. iShares Semiconductors ETF. Whew. Let's go zoom out. Let's go 1 year. So with SOX, one of the things I need to see, you have this steady downtrend here. Today looks like the day it's trying to break out. So Joy, if you're wanting to get on board with it, I like the fact that the MACD is finally turning into positive territory on a longer term basis. The DPO is positive. Stochastics looks good. Today was the day. If you're wanting to take a more aggressive entry, yeah, you could potentially jump on board and then use this trend line as your line of sand. Now, if you wanted to be more prudent, put a little bit higher probability that the trade will go the right way, but give up a little bit of that potential profit, then you could wait for tomorrow as the follow-through day. Now, this would be the breakout day. The follow-through day would be the next one, or the next day, or Monday, and that would be the entry as long as we get follow-through. So, depends if you're more prudent or aggressive. If you're aggressive, yeah, you could get in now, keep a tight stop with this trend line. If you're more prudent, wait for the follow-through to kick in on Monday. All right, so let's go back. XPEV, breakout. Actually, didn't break out there. Failed to break out. Breakout, no follow-through. MTTR, is it finally time to start running again? Seeing some renewed interest. Warning sign here, but then you see a potential reversal coming in here. Some buying coming in off those lows, but looking at the volume, light volume on that minute. So you need to see follow through or confirmation of this potential reversal to move higher before you would jump on board right there. 9. This is why we were being patient. It failed to break above that 945 resistance. Glad we stayed away and glad we were being more prudent with it rather than just trying to jump in hoping it would break through. This is an exact example of why hoping and praying is not a sound trading strategy. MG and I starting to see some renewed life coming in. Want to see it break this resistance here, 1102. AEHR, revisiting this one. You had that resistance, failed to break above. Now, this was support, 2482, continuing to move lower. Next consolidation comes in at 2450. So OPCH finally retesting that trend line here. Let's see how it reacts. This could be an interesting short trade to consider. Let's go look at the market. Market's looking like it's trying to base right now. Putting on support. Roughly right about 55.83. You've hit it once, twice, broke down twice here. So that's about 4 touches, 5 touches. But now, We're in this tight zone here between 55.91 and 55.83. Let's see if we can break out. That would give us a nice confirmation that, you know, the market still has more upside to go. MTTR. No follow through. Therefore, stay away. All right, let's go see what else we got here. Let's go run through. VLD looks pretty interesting. Really nice steady uptrend, but the question is how long can it sustain itself? IQ finally starting to see some new life coming into it. Ooh, SMRT. All right, let's go add that. Hey, Anonymous coming in with a $5 tip. Appreciate that, Anonymous. Thank you for the donation to Levine Children's Hospital. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much. VV Nation, show Anonymous, whoever you are. Show him some love. All right, so SMRT. Now, not the best looking chart. I'll say that right out of the gate. But looks like, are we halted maybe? You're starting to see some parabolic move here coming in. Actually, I would even move this up to consolidation at 313. VLD, yeah, VLD was another one that looked interesting. VLD. Yeah, VLD, we saw this big spike in volume here. But since that point, volume's been lightening up, so we need to be careful. We need to see it break 302 before jumping on board here. And also we need to see volume confirming that breakout. Otherwise, be careful. SMRT coming back down to that consolidation point. Let's see. I don't like seeing that selling pressure. I'm keeping my finger on the trigger just in case we see it get back above that that support zone. It's right at it as we speak. Traded within the lower 50% of that range, so we need to be careful with this one. Watching the volume and watching the price action. This is the run over. Let's see. About 15 more seconds. Come on, come on. Failed to get back above, and that volume just dried up real quick. Let's go see. VLD. The only thing that I'm worried about with this one, Marie, is that volume on it. The volume is extremely light here. You do have it holding this 302 support. Let's see. So this would be one with the lower volume. I would definitely be more comfortable using a limit order rather than using a market order. I mean, but then I'm looking at the spread here. The spread's only a penny, so it's not a bad spread on this one. All right, we're pulling the trigger on it. Let's see if I get filled. All right, so got filled on that one. We got a tight stop here at 302 even. What we need to see is a breakout above that high here at 304. So let's see it climb. Yeah, Faith. Once we, as always, if you ever want to take a look at a stock, we'd be glad to do so. We will look at it after we get done with the trade. So if we have a trade open, especially if it's a day trade, we're not going to go hopping around. So once we get done with this trade, we'll go ahead and take a look at that for you. When you have a position open, how far do you let it fall before giving up on it? So Roger, as you can see, I got in at 303 on this one. My stop is right here at 302. So right now, I'm only a penny a share on that one. If I'm giving it a very, very short leash on this one, because if it doesn't get above, or if it doesn't get back above that level, I'm cutting it right now. It'll be about 0.5% on the position. That's fine. That's manageable. But I'm not going to stay around and risking it as a day trade there. So now it's breaking down below. I'm going to give it this minute. If it doesn't get back above, I'm going to go ahead and just sell the position. But yeah, that's why I'm looking at it, or that's why I try to get my entry as close as I possibly can to my line in the sand. That way I minimize any potential risk or any potential loss as much as possible here. All right, so it closed down below that point. I'm not sticking around. So 0.6 on that. So Ravi, I'm evenly dollar weighting my portfolio or my positions. So that way I'm always out at the same cost basis there. All right. So out of that one. Okay, so let's go ahead, take a look at MasterCard. VLD, if you have to pay commissions, not worth it. Depends on your portfolio, depends on the size of the position. Right now we're trading through allies, so therefore we have 0 commissions. So it's not something that I really have to take into account, but I mean, that's for the individual to decide whether or not, after commissions, is it worth it? If you're using something like IB, who has penny a share commissions, that's pretty easy to make up. So yeah, it'd be worth it. But if you have something that's, like a $10 flat commission each way, then, I mean, you have to make that decision on your own on how big that position is and if you can make that commission up through that trade. All right, so MasterCard, MA. Now let's go take a look at it. Whew. So MasterCard, similar situation to what we're noticing with a lot of the stocks here that we've been looking at. You have this downtrend line. You've been in this downward channel, Faith, for quite some time. Realistically, for 9 months out of the last year. You came up to the upper part of this downward channel, stalled out today, now forming a doji after a nice long uptrend. Granted, there's still, a few more hours left of the market action that could change this, but at this given time, when looking at price action, you're stalling out right at that level of resistance and getting a lot of indecision. Now, you are on lighter volume currently, so can't really put too much weight to that, but at the same time, this doji at a high here, at a level of resistance, shows a lot of indecision currently about it. So if you're already into it and you have some decent gains, tightening up your stops would be a viable solution. Or if you're looking to get a new entry into it, I'd wait for the breakout, because right now there's a very high chance that it reverses off of this resistance zone and starts moving lower. But if you wait for the breakout, then your probability of success in that trade is a lot higher there. All right. So VLD, glad we got out of that. Took 0.6%. Is what it is. We'll move on from there. We can survive that. So we've had 2 out of 3 winning trades today, still up overall. All right, so Smart looking a little bit more attractive here at these levels. You came back down to this support floor. Let's see, right around 306. So Ravi, once again, I'm evenly dollar weighting my positions, so therefore it doesn't matter how much I'm putting in per position as long as I'm evenly weighting it, so that way no one position has a dramatic effect outside of another. So this is going off of the VectorVest mentality, the VectorVest philosophy that, you shouldn't overweight positions. You should evenly dollar weight your positions based on your portfolio size. That way, no matter whether you're talking to somebody or dealing with somebody who has a $10,000 portfolio or a $100,000 portfolio or $1 million portfolio, the same rules and the same basics still apply. All right, so looking at Smart, 306 is at support. Looks like it's trying to turn around. You may see slight relief coming in back to that 313. Not a huge profit target from where we're at right now. Comp, we looked at comp. I think, did we trade comp or did we not trade it yet? I know we were looking at it earlier. Let's go see. I think it's in this list. Whew. Glad we stayed away from 9. Where was it? I know we had it in here at one point. Let's go. So it tried to break out, failed to do so. Tried to run, came back down to retest. So right now, even though it's above that downtrend line, it's still riding it lower here. So at this stage, if you're 1 and 2, you would have to readjust based on the new data. Bring that here. You would need to see that breakout before entering based off of this sideways action and the fact that it never really was able to break out from that initial downtrend. So getting close, not quite there yet. SMRT. Just moving sideways still. All right, so MG&I. You had this original level of resistance. Now you're seeing a new breakout potentially. This may be our last trade for the day. If it doesn't take off here, we're going to start wrapping it up for today, but we'll see if we can get one more trade in. See if I got filled. I don't think I got filled. Yeah, it doesn't look like it got filled on this one. I put it in at the high here. By the time the order went through, it was already starting to blast off. So looks like I'll just take that one off. We'll start winding it down for the day. Marie, so anything 10% or more in 10 minutes, I'll take that profit off the table, or I'll start tightening up my stops on that one. That's usually a good rule of thumb. But another word, or realistically, as long as the trade keeps moving higher, I'll stay into it. If it doesn't come back down, or if it continues to move up, I'll just move my line of sand up higher and higher there. All right, so it's blown past my limit orders. I'm going to go ahead, take that off the table. And we'll start wrapping it up here for the day. So looking at the market. Market's starting to come back, seeing some nice conditions, improving, going towards the end of the session here today. So once again, still 68% of the way there to our second milestone. So we have a lot of ground to make up. We're going to get to some of the funner milestones that we have set for you guys. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for hanging out with me. Don't forget, next Tuesday, we will be doing an extended version of our Jockey Club and Trading for Charity. So instead of starting at noon, we will be starting at 9 a.m. Eastern. So tell all your friends, tell all your family, make sure they get in here if they want to see what the Jockey Club is about, see some real live trading activity, especially early on when you get the most volatile periods in the market. Make sure to be there for that. It's going to be a great time. So once again, next Tuesday at 9 a.m. rather than noon Eastern. So I look forward to seeing you all there. So until then, have a great weekend. Be safe out there. Take care and toodles.